Mesothelioma is a rare and aggressive form of cancer that primarily affects the mesothelial cells lining the lungs, heart, abdomen, and other organs. This cancer is primarily caused by exposure to asbestos, a naturally occurring mineral used in various industrial applications until its health risks were discovered. Asbestos exposure has been linked to mesothelioma and other serious health conditions, leading to numerous legal cases seeking compensation for victims and their families. Mesothelioma law firms specialize in representing these victims in asbestos litigation, fighting for justice, and pursuing financial compensation for the damages caused by asbestos exposure. Mesothelioma law firms exploring their role, significance, the legal process, the challenges they face, and the impact they have on those affected by asbestos-related diseases. Section 1. Understanding Mesothelioma and Asbestos 1.1. Mesothelioma. Mesothelioma is a rare and aggressive cancer that develops in the mesothelial cells, which are found in the protective linings of various organs, most commonly the lungs and abdomen. It has a long latency period, often taking decades for symptoms to manifest after initial asbestos exposure. 1.2 Asbestos. Asbestos is a group of naturally occurring minerals that were widely used in the past due to their heat-resistant and insulating properties. However, inhalation or ingestion of asbestos fibers can lead to severe health problems, including mesothelioma, lung cancer, and asbestosis. Section 2. The role of mesothelioma law firms. 2.1 Legal advocacy. Mesothelioma law firms play a crucial role in advocating for individuals diagnosed with mesothelioma and other asbestos-related diseases. They represent victims and their families in pursuing legal action against companies responsible for exposing them to asbestos. 2.2 Investigating asbestos exposure. One of the primary tasks of a mesothelioma law firm is to investigate the history of asbestos exposure for their clients. This involves identifying the sources of asbestos exposure, determining the responsible parties, and gathering evidence to support the claim. 2.3 Filing lawsuits. Mesothelioma law firms help victims file lawsuits against asbestos manufacturers, distributors, employers, or property owners who failed to provide a safe environment. These lawsuits seek compensation for medical expenses, lost wages, pain and suffering, and other damages caused by the asbestos exposure. 2.4 Pursuing settlements and verdicts. A skilled mesothelioma law firm will negotiate settlements with defendants or pursue trial verdicts in court. They aim to secure the maximum compensation possible for their clients while holding the responsible parties accountable. Section 3. Legal process in asbestos litigation. 3.1. Case evaluation. The legal process begins with a comprehensive case evaluation where the mesothelioma law firm reviews the medical records, work history, and potential sources of asbestos exposure for the client. 3.2. Filing the complaint. Once the firm establishes a viable case, they file a complaint on behalf of the client, outlining the details of asbestos exposure, the health effects, and the legal claims against the defendants. 3.3 Discovery phase. During the discovery phase, both sides exchange information and evidence related to the case. This includes depositions, interrogatories, and the production of documents to support their respective claims. 3.4 Settlement negotiation. Many mesothelioma cases are settled out of court through negotiation between the parties involved. A skilled law firm will aim to secure a fair settlement that meets the needs of the client. 3.5 Trial. If a settlement cannot be reached, the case goes to trial. A mesothelioma law firm will present the evidence, call witnesses, and argue the case before a judge and jury. 3.6 Verdict and compensation. If successful, the law firm's client will receive compensation determined by the court or agreed upon through settlement negotiations. Section 4. Challenges in mesothelioma litigation. 4.1 Latency period. One of the significant challenges in mesothelioma litigation is the long latency period. The time between asbestos exposure and the development of cancer can be several decades, making it challenging to trace the exact source of exposure. 4.2 Identifying responsible parties. Another difficulty lies in identifying the parties responsible for asbestos exposure, especially if the exposure occurred many years ago, and some companies may have changed ownership or dissolved. 4.3 Statute of Limitations. Each state has a statute of limitations that sets a time limit for filing a mesothelioma lawsuit. Law firms need to act quickly to ensure their clients' claims are within the statute of limitations. 4.4 Complex legal process. Asbestos litigation involves complex legal procedures, extensive research, and understanding of various regulations, making it imperative for mesothelioma